This weekend finally brings some actual live disc golf. Yes, it's an all-star game, but it still beats an off-season of sponsor speculation talks, gym grinds, social media posts, and card pack openings. With the season right around the corner, let's cover some of the biggest storylines going into the 2024 dgpt season. It's Swiss cheese with the disc golf world, and with me always is my nephew Jefferson. This upcoming Monday, we are packing up the minivan to kick off for Florida and beyond to follow the tour as far as the channel will take us. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so and keep up with all the tour news as we take you along for the ride. Last year had breakout performances by young players, plenty of first-time winners. Mario still might be celebrating. Paul goes on a European tour, a two-time major winner, a major Grand Slam winner on top of that, blow-ups, meltdowns, and Simon not on Discmania. Following that, we head into the 2024 season with a number of questions and storylines that look to shape the tour. So let's cover them.
We might have seen a lot of first-time winners last season. There are still a lot of players without an Elite Series win or better. I'm glad this season we won't have to specify that, and I can just say win on tour. Can't wait. Anthony Barella finished 9th in the rankings last season, yet he was just a few feet away last year, which was too hard to watch. Some would even say worse than Aaron Gossage, but he was only inches away from the win he's been oh so close to. Ezra, not too far down the rankings, hasn't got a win on tour either. Which Discraft player do you think will get their first win on tour? And why will they be sponsored by DGA? James Proctor flirted with the podium way too many times, and with him being more experienced on tour than ever, I wouldn't be surprised to see his name up on top. Drop in the comments section which player you think will get their first win on tour.
Injuries are part of the game, but last year saw a shortened season from some of the biggest names in the sport. Ricky and Valerie missed a major part of the season, but did return later, while Paul and Paige's seasons were cut short due to injury. Oh yeah, and there was Drew Gibson too. Paige underwent surgery and has only recently began throwing again. But with uneven terrain and shifts in body weight on a surgically repaired ankle, this injury could take some distance off of Paige's game, which prior to injury was considered elite compared to the remainder of the FPO. Add that her competitive spirit has been questioned in the past 2 seasons. This injury and her response to it has some fans concerned. Paige still is talented enough to be competitive, but this season and how well she performs is still up in the air. Paul ended his season late due to a shoulder injury, which to the dismay of many elected to forego surgery for a more controversial solution with a stem cell treatment. This will hopefully allow him to throw at his inaugural event, the Chess.com Invitational, that a surgery would not have permitted. That all said, with Paul off DGPT coverage for half of last season, while still coming off an injury, it has many interested whether Paul can return to champion form, or if the MPO field has finally caught up to the GOAT.
With the World Championships being played on the course he designed, will Paul McBeth be able to snag another title for his resume? The New London course is regarded as one of the most difficult courses that will be played this year, only falling behind Northwood Black, which will be used for 4 rounds at this year's first major, the Champions Cup. What's the over-under on the amount of people that drop out of that event? Don't worry, Worlds will have a second course in use as well, this one on a ball golf course. With Paul's name attached, I have a hard time imagining it will be a failure, but I have been wrong before, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Kristin Tattar only put together the greatest FPO season in history, winning the major Grand Slam along with more than a handful of other wins, often dominating the field throughout the entire year at a number of stops. She topped her winnings total for a second year in a row. Though she is the favorite to repeat her success, whether or not she can repeat with another major Grand Slam is still a storyline going into the season. Those who believe she can repeat will point to the little drop in her performance over the last 2 seasons. We'll highlight her winning the last 5 majors in a row that has only been matched one other time in FPO history. They may go even further in saying the competition field isn't that strong. Yet Tattar has never won Ledgestone and more importantly has had an up and down performance in her time at Northwood Black, home to this year's Champions Cup, and the only course played at that stop. While Missy, on the other hand, has won in back-to-back seasons with her strongest performance coming at the difficult wooded track. Add a possible extended European tour for Tattar with the expansion of their own tour overseas. Add a possible extended European tour with the recent expansion of their own tour overseas, and Tattar could possibly stretch herself too thin this season. We wait to see if she can extend her major streak and possibly back-to-back major Grand Slams. With Tattar's dominance, it also creates another storyline. Can any FPO players separate from the pack and challenge Tattar this season? When Tatar didn't win last season, the remaining winners were separated among multiple pros. Apart from Tatar, only Paige and Missy Gannon had multiple Elite Series victories, while Kat Murch and Owen Scoggins both had multiple wins but were split between Elite and Silver events. The remainder of wins were split with first-time winners on tour in Sai Anand, Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen, Macy Vela-Diaz, Chantel Budinsky, and now vets Valerie Mandahanu and Haley King. Can one of these ladies, or even a possible new up-and-comer, separate from the pack and truly challenge Tatar on a more consistent basis?
How in the world can we make this video and not bring up the question of Calvin Heimburg in majors? Will this be the year he can finally put all the haters to rest, or will it just be another long season I have to keep hearing about it every major weekend? Wouldn't it be cool if Heimburg goes out and wins 3? Screw a 2-time major winner, what about a 3-time? And then he can give a big middle finger to everyone who doubted him. This also begs the question, how will Isaac Robinson respond after his incredible season? He did have an Elite Series win before last season, but all the eyes will still be on him right besides Heimburg as their rivalry continues. Well, I know that's a stretch to say, but disc golf needs more storylines. Might as well use the Player of the Year thing as fuel for a feud. Back to the original point. I don't see Heimburg storming in and taking down 3 majors. I'm thinking we'll go back to the regular scheduled 4 different major winners. Not to say that there won't be a second-time major winner. That's not what I was trying to say. I meant that 4 different people would win each major. Alright, now I'm more confused than Eagle will be when deciding which arm to use this year. He will be making his return at Champions Cup and showing off that new gyroplastic. The question remains, will he be healthy in time to compete at the level needed for 4 rounds at Northwood Black?
Also having a lot of fans on pins and needles, the dgpt newly rolled out 2.0 coverage. After seasons of issues with pixelated quality, lag, and even frozen coverage at times, the dgpt has since gone to a new internet provider, AWS, which should be solving these issues, promising more than just their stop and rewind feature. dgpt is promoting 1080p and 60 frames per second coverage with this upgrade. And they better, as dgpt just also released a tier monthly subscription plan with the highest tier being now $20 a month. Oh, and the fact that everything is behind a paywall. That tiered talk is for another day, so go ahead and make sure to subscribe so you'll get that notification come Friday. But if the 2.0 program doesn't deliver this All-Star Weekend and beyond, it will continue to be a sore point for consumers, who will instead choose to get their content from post-coverage. Funny thing, revenue from Jomez, the most popular option, is also going to the dgpt coffers. We did tell you about both Jefferson and my daily recaps for this upcoming season, right? So why wait for post-round coverage of only one card? Watch our recaps at a fraction of the time and go back to what we all want to do more of, throwing plastic. Another addition to the dgbt was a unification and promotion of the European Tour. Has many excited for the growth of the game in Europe. Expanding participation, added prize pools, allowing pros to tour more easily as opposed to traveling to the States and now having the best competition at each stop over in Europe, instead of competing with other tournaments. Though the European Tour might have to go through some first-year growing pains, it certainly is placing the sport in the right direction overseas. What will be interesting is to see how that tour will affect both US and European players. European pros may stay at home for tour longer and attend less US stops, while some of the biggest pros in the sport in the US might elect for extended European tour with more stops similar to what Macbeth did last year.
I saw on Facebook that they're taking bets for the first thing Brodie Smith complains about in 2024. I narrowed it down to 3 options. The first one being the trophies, but I don't see that happening because look at the baskets for the Chess.com Invitational. How can you have those but an ugly trophy? Can't happen. Next, it could be some sort of spit out. I could see that, but will that happen at Olympus? Hopefully not. Granted, it is Paul's course, so that might be enough ammunition to throw some shade. Or what my money's on? Ratings. Nah, I'm just playing. Probably something about the PDGA, but you already know we'll have a full video breaking it down.
The offseason was highlighted by some big player movement in Gannon Buhr and Eagle McMahon. Each had been with their previous sponsors for multiple years prior and considered top 5 talents in the game currently. With the upcoming season, it has many fans wondering how they will perform with their new disc lineup. Eagle's situation made worse due to the fact that he's still currently throwing left-handed, as he is recovering from surgery also and is not intending to join the tour till Champions Cup. With these players being some of the top players on tour, both the brand and fans are looking for similar results this upcoming year. Yet some other pros have found difficulty with brand changes prior.
Those are some of the important storylines Swiss and I will be watching out for this season. We're less than a week away from leaving for our next tour, so a like and subscribe will go a long way. It's the easiest way to support the disc golf world. We can't wait to get back on tour doing what we love most, recapping professional disc golf. Wow, that's the loneliest thing I've ever said on a Valentine's Day. Oh well, check out this video if you want to hear a full history of the disc golf world.